Michelle. Thank you for coming back in today. I just wanted to see how you have been going, and how have things been going. How you feeling since the last time I saw you?
Um, yeah, things haven't been great.
Okay.
Yeah, it's it's just really hard.
Hmm.
Um, Even just getting out of bed in the morning is hard.
Yeah.
Um, I I've been thinking about Tom a lot lately.
Yeah.
Um, and thinking about like if he was still alive, what he would be doing.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's really strange. You get used to watching your child from month to month changing, and
Hmm.
I feel like I've missed, you know, 4 months of. I just imagine what he would be like now if he wasn't gone.
Yeah.
How would he have changed? And it just doesn't seem fair that I see other people with their 4 year olds and
Yeah.
they're still alive, they're still spending time with their kids, and I'm here all on my own.
Yeah. It sounds like you're feeling quite lost at the moment. Is that
Mm,
right?
yeah, I'm very alone.
Very alone.
Um, yeah, it's just like, what do you do with that? Like, what's even the point? I
Yeah.
used to get up for Tom. Like,
Hmm.
I just don't see the point anymore. Like,
Yeah.
why do anything? Like, what's the point?
So you're
Um,
lacking the motivation.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. There's no motivation to
Okay.
do anything.
Yeah.
Um, and it it doesn't help that my parents. I think they think that they're being helpful,
Yeah.
but all I hear from them is their religious crap
Hmm.
about, that I just need to accept that this was God's will, that, um, Tom's in a better place. Like,
Yeah.
this, like, how? Like, he was 4.
Yeah.
How had he lived his whole life and now he's meant to be in heaven? Like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah.
And how can they think that I should just accept that and like how is that helpful? Oh, it's God's will. Like, how is that helpful to anyone? And they won't shut up about it. Every time I talk to them and I try and tell them how I'm feeling, they seem to think that by telling me that it's gonna make me feel better, but like it just makes me angry.
Yeah.
Really, really angry. At first, I was like, okay, then my parents are trying to help, but the more I hear it, the angrier I get. And at this point, I just don't want to speak to them anymore. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, you're very worked up, and, you are visibly angry and upset, and that's okay. You've gone through a traumatic experience. You're allowed to feel these emotions that you're feeling, and it's really natural to feel what you're feeling. You know, when we go through a hard time like this, we tend to lash out at the people that are closest to us. And, that doesn't mean that we don't love them. And, you know, it it's getting those emotions out there, and it's completely natural. And, you're doing a very brave thing by keeping coming back to these sessions, and you need to acknowledge that and be proud of that you're making the effort to come in and move forward. It's a really positive thing. Now, when it comes to your parents, do they, have you always, are you religious like they are? Like, do you have a strong sense of religion like they do?
Well, I don't go to church.
Okay.
But I was raised in the church.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't help but have a bit of that stuck in there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I don't believe in God, but yeah. So I don't go to church.
Yeah.
I don't really practice their religion,
Okay.
but I do believe in God.
Okay. So I could imagine that it might feel quite pressuring for them to not be asking you about if you believe that this is God's will, but them telling you
Absolutely
that this is God's will.
And then they like want me to go to church. Like that will help.
Yeah.
Not only with the grief, but like I feel like they think that if I go to church, then I'm more likely to believe what they're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
That it's God's will. And I'm sure it's coming from a place where they want to help me,
Yeah.
but it's not helping.
Yeah. So you feel like they're more trying to push their beliefs onto you than trying to make you feel better by going and praying.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and it's almost like I can't go to church now because by going to church, it will somehow be me accepting what they're saying.
Yeah.
So it's all wrapped up in this pressure.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think that them talking to you about God and His will, that it may be a coping mechanism for them?
Yeah, I suppose it might be. I hadn't thought of that.
Were they very close with Tom?
Yeah, I'd take Tom over to see them a couple of times a week because Dad works but Mum doesn't, so she's home during the day. So I'd normally go over with Tom for like afternoon tea.
Yeah. And
we'd stay until Dad got home from work. So they both spent a good bit of time with Tom and yeah, they loved him.
Yeah.
Like we all loved him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, I do believe that just from what you've described, that they are coming from a place of love. And I think that they might not fully know how to respond in this situation. So, you know, it might just be the most natural thing for them to turn to their religion. And, you know, if they don't know any other way of being able to handle this situation, that might be their go-to.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Michelle. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about, you know, the effects that grief can have on us physically and emotionally. You know, it can take its toll on, you know, our physical and mental health in quite a big way. And, you know, I just want to get a gauge of how you've been doing health-wise since this has all happened. So how do you feel like you've been health-wise? You know, have you still been eating right and sleeping? How's it all been going?
Yeah, eating and sleeping is probably two of the most difficult things to stick up with. Even like taking a shower every day, that's sort of fallen to the wayside. I mean, I don't really see the point. Like, what's the point of eating? Like, because normally I would make lunch and breakfast and dinner for Tom and I. You know, I'd make food that Tom liked to eat.